Kereisos Daf Yud Beis. If two witnesses come forward and they say they saw that Reuven ate chaylev, or that they saw that Reuven went into the Beis Hamikdash when he was tamei, and Reuven denies it, he contradicts them. According to Chachamim, Reuven has a migui. The Edom wanted him to bring a carbon. Well, he could get out of the carbon by saying, I in fact went into the Beis Hamikdash, but I did it deliberately. I ate chaylev, but it was b'mezid, and therefore he's pater from a carbon. Now, even according to Chachamim, if the testimony was that he became tamei today, he can't say, yes, I was tamei and I went to the mikvah, because even if he went to the mikvah, that would not get rid of his tumah until the next day. Sometimes, even if the testimony was that he became tamei the day before, he still doesn't have a migui that he went to the mikvah and became tahor. In a case where the testimony was not that he went into the Beis Hamikdash when he was tamei, but rather when he was tamei he touched kachim. In that case, although he has a migui when it comes to his carbon, and it's a little bit difficult to understand the distinction, he doesn't have a migui when it comes to touching. Because his migui is actually contradicting that he says, I didn't become tamei. Rabbi Yehuda holds a person is always believed against 100 Edom. So we believe him in all situations, and therefore he's pater. And Rashi sticks in a svara because a person doesn't want to give up his ability to bring a carbon and get rid of his chet. And Rav Nachman, in fact, passing like Rabbi Yehuda, that a person is believed on himself, that he's not tamei, and that he didn't eat chaylev. Yet, Rav Nachman says there's two limitations. He's believed to say that he's not tamei for himself, but he should not go in public and show people that he's eating according to the Edom B'tumah. And the second limitation is he can't feed other people. Reb Meir holds that a person is not believed to say, I was amazed, I did it deliberately, because ein other meis matzmi rasha. A person cannot testify about himself and bring himself to a position that he becomes a rasha. However, in a case where he's not a rasha, then he is believed. There are three cases the Gemara says that we explain away what he says, even though it doesn't really sound that good. When a person says, by a shivcha charufa, he says, Lo ba'alti shivcha charufa, I was never with the shivcha charufa, and this testimony that he was, he meant to say, I didn't finish the biyah, as we said the other day, that by shivcha charufa it has to be royal hazriya. If you didn't finish, it's not royal hazriya and he's pater. By a nazir, he says, I didn't become tamei, but we have testimony that he did. What he meant to say is that I went to a Rav and I was shoyel on my naziros. The Rav said, I'm not a nazir anymore. If a witness says, I don't know testimony, but Edom testified that he does know testimony, we could explain what he meant to say is, I didn't have kavana, and Tosfos explains beautifully, it's talking about when he heard it and he didn't see it. It's very hard to say that a person didn't have kavana when he saw something. But when he heard it, maybe he wasn't listening well, and that's what he meant. I didn't understand the eidos. There's a concept called yediyah mechalik. An awareness separates and divides. In other words, if a person ate, let's say, a kezayis chaylev, b'shoigig, he had no idea, and then he had an awareness, he understood what he did, and then he followed up with another kezayis chaylev b'shoigig. So that yediyah, that awareness, causes him to bring two karbanos. There's a machlekes tanoim. Do we say that a yediyah is mechalik even in a situation where it brings a leniency? For instance, if a person ate a half a kezayis of chaylev, then he had an awareness, then he had another half a kezayis. Do we say that the awareness separates and divides, and therefore he doesn't have to bring a carbon? Or do we say no, the awareness separates and divides in a chumrah banat for a kula? The same thing would be in a case where a person, let's say, wrote one letter on Shabbos, then he had an awareness that it's Shabbos, and then he wrote another letter. Do we say that the yediyah is mechalik and he's not chayiv or not? According to Yeshua, tamchuim are also mechalik. In other words, different foods. If a person eats a kezayis chaylev in, let's say, the chont, and then a kezayis chaylev in kugel, he's chayiv two korbanos because it's two separate foods. There's a machlekes and a lashonos in the Gemara whether do we say that also the kula or not? So let's say he had a half a kezayis chaylev in the chont and a half a kezayis chaylev in the kugel. Do we say that since it's two foods, it's separate and they don't combine together as one isser, or they do combine for one isser? Have a wonderful day.